Got the Baldini out today, man. Got me showing my freshly shaved head. I got the beard on point though, so it's all good. But in either case, it's been a long absence. Hello and welcome to another episode of Fermented Thoughts, where we're taking in a little bit of alcohol and bringing a lot of conversation. Today's conversation is going to be centered around Premo Rice's brand new project that dropped this past Friday called Bad Motherfucker. Now today's beverage of choice, we're gonna go with the Pinot Noir, dog. This Pinot Noir 2020. I'll put the notes somewhere in the video. My personal tasting notes, my wine novice tasting notes, so you can kind of see. And you know, if you go out in the supermarket and you see, hopefully you want to try it. But I do think it's pretty solid, especially for the price. I don't remember how much I paid, but it was under like $15. I'm going for pour up a glass, see if I still got it. You know, it's been a while since I did one of these. Ooh, that's a heavy pour. So it's gonna be a good video, man. The aroma's hitting me already, man. It smells good. It's just like red fruit, just lip sync from the glass. Hope you have your beverage with me if you're of age, of course. Let's talk about
30 on the left, 20 on the right. Yeah, in the new 550, shutting down the night. All right, finna beat the block, finna hit the road. Yeah, finna catch a bad bitch up at Esha. This
smells like communion juice. Like that's the vibes it's getting. Like when I first smelled it, one of the hints, kind of like communion juice. Pretty solid Pinot Noir, in my humble opinion. So as stated, we are covering Premo Rice's project. We have covered Premo Rice on this channel previously with his last project, P Guy Game, the collaborative project he had with Harry Fraud, the producer. And if you remember, I said that project had some hits and misses, right? Not really any bad songs on there, but overall as a project, was I going to revisit that outside of Jill Scott, which was the highlight easily of that project? Nah, not really. Maybe Jill Scott. I think there was maybe a couple other songs, but Jill Scott really, since that project has dropped, has been the only song I've really come back to consistently. That song's still fire. Coming into this project, my expectations were a little The single he released, Sucker Free, I really didn't care for it at all. But I am a Premo Rice fan, so I was trying to listen. And it does start really good. The first two tracks, Star Status and Bad Motherfucker, I think are pretty solid. Star Status being more of like an opening track, so it's not much rapping going on. It's under 2 minutes. That Motherfucker, I think, really kicks it off with some high energy. Rice is flowing on that, and I really like it. So those first two songs really, I'm like, okay, we might actually be in for a good, welcome surprise with this project. It goes to Epa Eshaho, which it wasn't bad, but it wasn't at the level of those first two songs, but it still wasn't a chore to listen to. I should put in context, I listened to this project a couple of times, like 4 times. Thankfully it is short, like under 35 minutes, I believe, so it wasn't the roughest listen, but this project did have to grow on me, but I'll touch on that probably towards the end of the video. Upper Eshaho, it did have to grow on me, but it wasn't at the level of the first two songs, but still a good song. But then we got to That Fire, and yeah, that's when this project, I don't want to say it nosedive, but I hated that song. I still, no amount of listening is gonna make that song grow on me. That song it's just not really Premo's pocket. I'm doing like this, playing with his voice a little bit, like we got that fire, I got that fire. It's like I don't really need that for Premo at all. So that song just, and then goes on to Sucker Free. I already said I didn't like that single. After Sucker Free, it goes on to Make Some, which I like the beat on it. It has a nice bounce to it. Premo is kind of flowing on there, but it just felt like it needed more energy, like something to bring the track alive a little bit. And I actually think that's a common reoccurrence with a couple of these songs, just the energy and just needs like a jolt in it, like a generator, just to amp up some things about these songs to really bring them to life like they need to. We're gonna go to what I think is the highlight of this project, which is Fresher. I think that song is the song I'm gonna come back to from this project. Nice production, Premo's flowing on that, has a nice soulful little production, but a nice bounce to it as well. Premo's charisma is showing off on this song. In a sense, kind of reminds me of Leanin' off the Dom Kennedy project, Class of 95. In a slight sense, I think it just sounds kind of similar to that. This song's a little more soulful though, with the production side. And I like this song. This is a song that it caught my ear the first time I heard it. Remember I said earlier this project had to grow on me, but that song didn't have to grow on me at all. I like that song first time I heard it. That's the one I'm going to be returning to. The Summertime Rice, which I really feel have potential to be a great song. Comes with that Teddy Pendergrass sample. And it's like, it's not a bad song, but it just feels so empty. Like it just needs something. Again, needs some energy, something to jolt it to make it a great song. The potential is there with the sample, and then even Premo's hook isn't bad, but it just there's too much empty noise in that song. There's not enough rapping. Like it's a short song, 2 minutes, but it almost seems like an interlude more than a standalone song. But it's not titled like an interlude, so I have to treat it as such. I have to treat it like an actual song. So big opportunity missed for that song. I really think that could have been another highlight, even better than Fresher, in my opinion. It just needs something. It just felt really too empty in that song for me. And then outside of that, none of the songs really stuck out to me in a good way, at least. The lows on this project though were honestly the highlight, because at least in P Got Game, none of the songs were really bad if I'm remembering correctly, but these just have some bad songs. Like That Fire, I'm not returning to in any capacity. Geeking Me, I don't know what was going on in the studio there. Lieutenant's starting to dry up my mouth a little bit. Again, I don't really know why he would go in that direction. He's doing this thing with his voice, was like making it kind of raspy and like, I don't know, like menacing or something, but that's not Premo's pocket, at least in my opinion. His pocket is more of kind of soulful, lush production, letting that charisma show, letting, you know, playing with cadences on tracks and stuff. And overall, this project, I really don't think he did that a lot, honestly. The features on here didn't add anything. He had Gossman on the one track, didn't do anything for me. I much rather preferred his feature on Good Game on Portrait of Repeat, which overall I think is a way better project. Uncle John, which I don't think I've heard of him before. That track as a whole just seemed like a Griselda, like West Side Gun type of track, and he kind of reminded me of a West Side Gun on that track. So that track, the track I'm speaking of, The Godspeed, even Premo's verse it seemed like what's like 8-9 bars, so it wasn't even like a full verse. It was Uncle John's track more so. Premo came off as a feature. But overall, the features really didn't add anything. You could have removed them off here. It wouldn't have done anything for this project to me. And overall, this project is honestly, the more I think about it, I actually don't like this even as much as P Got Game, the Harry Fraud project. And I wasn't really high on that project. I just said it had a bunch of hits and misses. This one, it has hits and misses, but because this is an additional 5 tracks compared to the P Got Game, which is only 8 tracks, the misses kind of stand out a little more, and the hits are more scattered out on this project. So it definitely kind of takes it down a notch for me. I listened to it 4 times. I don't really think my opinion will change. Like I said, it did grow on me from the first listen, but I don't really see it growing on me anymore. To me, he still hasn't touched Portrait of a P. I think that was his last kind of great project, great body of work that he put out. Features to production, charisma, cadence, I don't think he's really touched that on a project. Maybe little bits and pieces there, like on P Got Game, he had Jill Scott. This one, in my opinion, Fresher. The first 2 tracks, Bad Motherfucker and Star Says, I think kind of show that charisma and those traits that I look for in the Premo Rice project and song, but overall, it wasn't doing it for me. Go back to Portrait of a P, Rice Tape, Night at the Chateau. You can go back to those and you'll be fine. Even some of these EPs like Check and Chicken, you'll be fine if you want an introduction to Premo. That's like a little 4-song EP. You can go check that out. But there are definitely better Premo Rice projects. Currently is on tour, so at least it gives them a project to kind of do with the tour. It'll be interesting to see how many songs from this project make the set list based on popularity and requests. Being a Premo Rice fan, I do want to try to catch that tour, because even if the songs from this project are being played, I know there's a whole bunch of other Premo songs that I would love to hear live. Ooh, that dog's starting to bark now, but that's gonna wrap it up for this episode of Fermented Thoughts. Let me know you guys and gals' thoughts on Premo Rice's project. Have you heard it? Are you a Premo fan and you was messing with it? Are there some things I might have missed that I just wasn't clicking for me yet? Let me know. Let's have a conversation in the comments. I would love to. I'm gonna go back and knock out the rest of this dog here. As always, this is Loose and Dark Grapes. Stay hydrated, stay moisturized. I'm out.